My beloved child, a lunar eclipse in human understanding is merely the moment when the earth moves between the sun and the moon, causing the light to be obscured and casting a crimson glow upon the moon. People often see it as nothing more than a recurring astronomical phenomenon, predictable through mathematical formulas. Yet, if you stop only at this cold scientific view, you will miss the deeper meaning I have set in the heavens. A lunar eclipse is not simply a natural event. It is a sacred sign that I have ordained, a reminder that this universe does not operate by chance, but that every detail rests in my mighty hand and in my eternal plan. Since ancient times, nations across civilizations have recorded the appearance of lunar eclipses as omens, sometimes as warnings, sometimes as signals of dynastic change or the turning of an age. In my word, signs in the heavens are often mentioned as heralds of great events. Therefore, to truly understand the lunar eclipse, you must not see it merely as a spectacle of nature, but as a silent decree from me, the creator of heaven and earth, spoken directly to you. The lunar eclipse reveals a truth I want you to hold fast. Light may be hidden for a moment, but it is never extinguished. The moon has no light of its own. It only reflects the radiance of the Sunday. When the earth intrudes, that light is blocked and the moon takes on an unusual red hue. This is a powerful metaphor I placed for humanity's journey. There are seasons when darkness seems to prevail, life is stained with blood, and fear rises, but true light has never disappeared. It is only veiled for a time so that humanity may recognize its limits and not arrogantly assume the universe lies under its control. The lunar eclipse reminds you that history is not a meaningless line but a sequence of eras I mark with sacred events. Each eclipse is like a resonant bell in the spiritual realm, announcing the beginning or end of a season the world must pass through. If you look with spiritual eyes, you will see clearly that the lunar eclipse reflects the relationship between darkness and light in a battle far greater than any natural phenomenon. Darkness seeks to cover the light, but the light still exists, waiting for the appointed moment to shine fully. This mirrors your walk of faith. There are times when your life feels shrouded in the crimson shade of trials, when you are enveloped in night and imagine the light has been lost. Yet I declare to you that the light has never vanished. It is only hidden for a moment to test your faith, to awaken vigilance in your soul, and to prepare you for the new era I have ordained. Remember this word: the sun shall be turned to darkness, and the moon to blood before the great and dreadful day of the Lord comes. Joel 2:3-1. This is not only a warning of awe, but also a proclamation that I remain sovereign over every turning. The lunar eclipse itself is such a proclamation, an old era closing, a new door about to open, and humanity cannot stand idly by detached from this current. Therefore, do not treat the lunar eclipse lightly as a mere recurring event to be dismissed. It is a sign to the whole world that a season of transition is near. Within that strange crimson glow, hear the echoes of history. The many times I used signs in the heavens to awaken my people. From the days of the Exodus, when hail, darkness, and plague struck Egypt, to the hour when my son was crucified and the sun was darkened at midday, all stand as evidence that I still speak through the movements of creation. Today's lunar eclipse bears the same essence. It is not coincidence, but a summons from eternity. It is my word reminding you that this world approaches a great transformation of perception, of power, and of order, and only those who have ears to hear and eyes to see will discern it and prepare for that transition. My beloved child, a lunar eclipse is not merely a spectacle to behold. It carries within itself a profound meaning that few are willing to seek. I allow the shadow to cover the moon, not to instill fear, but to grant you a vivid image of humanity's spiritual journey. Just as the moon has no light of its own, mankind possesses no light apart from me. You only shine when you reflect the radiance that comes from me. When that light is obscured, you will recognize your own limitations and see clearly the necessity of leaning on me rather than relying on your own strength. The lunar eclipse reminds you that true faith does not arise when all is bright and clear, but when you dare to trust even as the heavens are stained crimson by darkness. My child, when the moon takes on a red hue, it is also a reminder of the price of blood my son poured out. That crimson shade is not only a warning of judgment, but also a sign of sacrifice, of unfailing love, and of the eternal covenant. I want you to remember that salvation cannot be earned by your own efforts. It has already been purchased by innocent blood. The lunar eclipse becomes a symbol of that blood. The blood that cleanses, the blood that redeems, the blood that opens the way for you to eternal life. Yet at the same time, the red also warns that innocent blood still cries out and injustice still remains, so the hour of judgment is near. Thus, within a single scene, I reveal both love and a solemn call for mankind to embrace responsibility and make their choice. Beloved child, understand that the lunar eclipse also mirrors the seasons I allow to unfold in your own life. There are times when the light within you seems dimmed, when all around you feels dark and confusing. Those are the moments when your faith is tested and your heart refined. Do not think that such darkness is a sign of abandonment, but recognize that it is precisely in those moments that I am preparing you for a new brilliance. Just as the moon shines again after the eclipse, so will your life after enduring trials. You will emerge brighter, stronger, and closer to me than ever before. Darkness is only the threshold for glory to be revealed. The lunar eclipse also serves as a warning to the world. When people are consumed with comfort, with habits, with pride in science and knowledge, I use the signs in the heavens to awaken their spirits. I remind them that no human system can fully explain the workings of this universe. The cosmos remains a symphony of my design, and every note that resounds carries meaning. The lunar eclipse is a deep, resonant note calling humanity back to its origin, to the one who created them. It declares that mankind is but a traveler in the journey of history, while I alone am the sovereign who ordains every season and every time. My child, let the lunar eclipse remind you that light and darkness always coexist in the cosmic battle. There are seasons when I allow the shadows to rise, not because I am weak, but because I desire to reveal who truly belongs to me. Just as the moon cannot hide its red hue in that hour, the human heart cannot conceal its nature when trials come. Those who place their trust in me will remain steadfast, while those who cling to the world will falter. Therefore, the lunar eclipse carries the meaning of purification, exposing what is false, revealing what is true, and preparing a resilient spiritual people for the season ahead. Beloved one, know that in every sign I grant, nothing is by accident. The lunar eclipse is the intersection of heaven and earth, of light and darkness, of blood and life. It reminds you that everything in this world is temporary, but my plan endures forever. When you lift your eyes to the sky on the night of an eclipse, I want your heart to tremble in reverence, yet also overflow with hope. For the darkness will pass, and the light will return, and those who hold firmly to my hand will be safe within my shelter. This is the spiritual meaning I have inscribed within the lunar eclipse, a warning, a promise, and a call meant for you. My beloved child, do not think that a lunar eclipse is merely a coincidental event in the history of the universe. No. My child, this is not by chance, but rather the sound of a bell I ring from heaven to awaken the souls that are slumbering. It is a reminder that this world cannot continue drifting endlessly in ignorance, in false security, and in complacency. Each time the light is covered, it is when I sound the trumpet, calling my people back to examine the very foundation of their faith. For many have built their lives upon the sinking sand of comfort and earthly systems, forgetting that only I am the solid rock that endures forever. My child, when a lunar eclipse takes place, I want you to pause and reflect what is truly the foundation of your life. Where are you placing your trust? In wealth, in fame, in power, or in me? For all those other things can be obscured. They can vanish in but a moment. Yet I, the living one, never change. I am the eternal light that darkness can never overcome. Thus the lunar eclipse is my call for you to search your heart, so that you may not walk in false confidence, but instead stand firm upon the unshakable foundation. O my child, there are many whose souls are fast asleep. They go on with daily routines, with work, with breath in their bodies, yet inwardly their spirits have grown dim. They are lulled by comfort, by fleeting pleasures, and by the ease that the world offers. I use the lunar eclipse to stir them, to remind them that time is running short and that awakening cannot be delayed. This is the moment for humankind to open their eyes to see the truth that darkness is spreading, and unless they stand firm in me, they will be swept away by the tide of destruction. I desire that none should perish. Therefore I shake, I warn, I call, so that you and many others may return to me in time. My child, to be awake is not to live in fear, but to live in clarity. When you are awake, you recognize the schemes of the enemy and are not deceived by outward glitter. When you are awake, you discern clearly the path of life and the road that leads to death. The lunar eclipse is my reminder for you to keep your lamp burning, like the wise servants waiting for their master to return. You do not know the exact hour of his coming, but you can recognize the signs and prepare your heart. I have declared, therefore keep watch, because you do not know on what day your Lord will come. Matthew 2:4-4-2. My child, the lunar eclipse is one of these signs, so that you may know the appointed time is drawing near. I call you to awaken not only for yourself, but also that you may become a bell of warning for those around you. Many wander in darkness unaware. Many place their trust in fragile foundations without recognizing the danger. You must be the one to warn, to shine as a small light in the night, to shake them from their spiritual slumber. Open your mouth, live a life that reflects truth, so that through you many may hear the call to return. The lunar eclipse is not given only for your eyes to see, but for your heart to echo my voice, and for you to become a witness to the awakening I require. My beloved child, awakening is also humility to examine yourself. Do not think that because you know my word, because you walk in the community of my people, you are already safe. For many appear outwardly righteous, yet within remain full of darkness. The lunar eclipse is a call for you to look deep within your spirit, to repent, to cast away all compromise with sin, and to live wholly for me. I do not desire a half-hearted life, a lukewarm faith. I want you to belong to me fully, for only then will you stand firm in the days to come. My child, regard the lunar eclipse as a spiritual alarm bell. It is not merely a sign of external change, but also of an inner transformation within the human heart. I am calling forth a generation that is awake, a people who know how to hear my voice, who can discern what is truly from me and what is only an illusion. If you answer this call, you will not be caught off guard by the upheavals, but will stand ready, equipped, and filled with life. On the other hand, if you ignore it, you will be engulfed by the darkness, and that day will come like a thief, taking away everything you thought you were holding on to. Therefore, my child, be watchful. Do not let your heart grow heavy with worry, with desires, or with the burdens of this world. Keep your lamp burning with the oil of the Holy Spirit. Guard your mind, so that no lie may take root within you. Walk each day with sobriety, so that when my day arrives, you may lift up your head and rejoice, knowing that you are ready. The lunar eclipse is a bell of awakening, a gracious warning, and an opportunity for you to set your life in order before the door is shut. Listen, respond, and live as one who is truly awake. My beloved child, lift your eyes and behold the creation around you, for nature itself is raising its voice. The earth groans, the seas roar, the heavens tremble, not merely because of natural laws, but because I have permitted them to mirror a spiritual reality. When you see earthquakes shaking the land, when you hear storms howling, when wildfires blaze or floods rise, do not think these are only natural events. No, my child, they are the voice of creation, the bell I use to stir humanity from its slumber and pride. For everything in this universe rests in my hands, and I use the movements of nature itself to remind mankind that they are not the masters of history. I alone am the sovereign. From the beginning, creation was made in perfection. The land was fertile, the seas calm, and the skies clear. But when sin entered, The entire cosmos was drawn into groaning. That is why the upheavals of nature you witness today are not merely the result of climate or environment, but spiritual signs as well. The earth quakes under the weight of injustice. The seas rage under the burden of sin poured upon them. The skies storm because corruption spreads like a plague. All these convulsions are the cries of creation, and at the same time they are instruments I use to remind humanity that the times are shifting and the eternal kingdom is near. My child, many people panic and complain when disaster strikes, but know this: nothing happens outside of my permission. The storms are not meant to destroy you, but to awaken you. The earthquakes are not meant to drive you to despair, but to remind you that no foundation in this world is secure apart from me. When you see the natural world becoming increasingly chaotic, understand that it is my voice resounding across the earth. Return to me, for the time is short. This is a call to awaken not only for one nation, but for all of humanity. My child, do you remember what I declared in Scripture? For we know that the whole creation has been groaning together in the pains of childbirth until now. Romans 8:2. All creation is groaning, longing for the day of liberation, the day when glory will be revealed. That is why you see more upheaval than ever before. The land finds no rest, the heavens hold no peace, the seas never cease their crashing. All of it is an echo from the spiritual realm, a cry for humanity to prepare their hearts for the great restoration I am about to bring forth. The lunar eclipse I have placed in the sky is a sign, and the convulsions in nature are its companions, so that you cannot remain indifferent, but must know that the transition is truly taking place. Look deeply. My child, when the trees wither from drought, when floods sweep away homes, when volcanoes erupt, they all declare to you that this world cannot go on living in compromise with darkness. Creation is joining me in calling humanity to repentance. Nature is echoing with me, reminding you that everything on this earth is temporary. Therefore, do not set your hope in great works of man, in strong systems built by human hands, for with one earthquake or one storm they may collapse. I want you to understand that only I am your sure refuge. Only I am the fortress that remains safe when the world is shaken. My child, many will attempt to explain the phenomena of nature through scientific knowledge, and indeed they may present figures and data. Yet, what they fail to see is the spiritual meaning behind it all. Do not allow yourself to be distracted, for I am the one who has established those very laws of nature. When I stir, heaven and earth tremble. When I am silent, even the seas grow still. Listen to that voice, for it resounds louder than any theory. Do not turn away from the warnings I send through these upheavals. If you listen and understand, you will find safety in me. Beloved child, remember, this nature's upheavals are not meant to sow despair, but to open your eyes. They remind you that this world is fragile, that your life is but a breath, and that everything you cling to in this realm can vanish in an instant. Yet within that very fragility, I call you to build your life upon a firm foundation, upon me, the Eternal One. When the world is shaken, you will still stand. When the seas roar, you will remain at peace. When the ground collapses, you will lift your head high, for you know that I am your refuge. Therefore, my child, do not be afraid when you see nature in turmoil. Instead, let your heart be moved and your spirit awakened. For this is my voice through creation, a call for you to draw nearer to me. The eclipse in the heavens and the trembling of the earth together bear witness a new era is dawning. The everlasting kingdom draws near, and I am calling you to prepare your soul to enter in. Hear and respond, my child, for this is the very reason I have allowed nature to lift its voice with such power. My beloved child, listen closely to this. Do not seek security in what belongs to the world, for all of it will pass away. The houses you build may fall, the wealth you store may vanish. The honor you gain may be forgotten, and even the systems humanity deems unshakable will falter. This world is like sinking sand. When you try to build your life upon it, a single wind or wave is enough to sweep it all away. But I am the one who never changes, the eternal rock. Whoever builds their life upon me will never be put to shame, no matter how high the storm rises or how violently the earth shakes. My child, I know how often your heart longs for security. You desire a firm place to rest, a sure source for the future. But I tell you this, nowhere in this world can give you true security. Only I, the one who created you, am your safe refuge. Many have placed their trust in money only to fall into despair when economies collapsed. Many have placed their hope in people and relationships or promises only to be betrayed and broken-hearted. But those who put their trust in me will never be abandoned, for I am faithful to keep every word I have spoken. Hear then what I have declared. The rain fell, the floods came, and the winds blew and beat against that house, yet it did not fall because it had been founded on the rock. Matthew 7:2-5. This is the truth I desire to engrave deeply within your heart. The only unshakable foundation is me, the Redeemer and Lord of all ages. If you set your faith upon me, you are like the one who builds his house upon the rock. Storms may come, floods may rise, yet the house will stand firm. But if you rely only on the world, you are like the one who builds upon the sand. When trials arrive, all will collapse, and that fall will be great. My beloved child, in the days ahead, the shaking will only intensify. Nations will tremble, systems will collapse, and many things you once thought were secure will vanish. I allow this to happen so that all may realize they need a true foundation, a place to stand that cannot be moved. And I myself am that foundation. When the world changes, I remain. When darkness covers the earth, my light still shines. When people turn away, my love does not change. That is why I call you to build your life entirely upon me, not upon anything else. My child, I know there are times when you are tempted to seek safety in what your eyes can see. You think that wealth will bring you peace, that recognition will earn you respect, that status will grant you power. But I want you to understand that all these things are but shadows, fleeting vapors that vanish in a moment. They can disappear in an instant, and when they do, you will see that only I am the ground on which you can stand firm. Therefore, do not anchor your life in what fades, but place it in me, the one who lives forever. The true foundation is not only where you stand, but also the source of strength for your soul. When you cling to me, you will not be shaken by bad news, by threats, or by the fear sown by the enemy. When those around you are bewildered, you will remain steadfast because you know that I reign. When others despair, you will still have hope, because your hope does not come from this world, but from me, the one who has overcome the world. This is the difference of those who build their lives upon the eternal rock. My child, I am your strong refuge. I am the everlasting fortress. I am the shield that covers you. If you hide yourself in me, you will be safe, not because the world is free of danger, but because I am greater than every danger. If you walk with me, you will never be alone, not because there will be no trials, but because I walk with you through every trial. This is the true assurance, not the absence of hardship, but the presence of my hand in every storm. Beloved child, let this truth be engraved in your heart. I am the eternal rock, unchanging through all ages. I remain who I am yesterday, today, and forever. My word stands firm, even if heaven and earth pass away. My promises remain sure, though everything else shifts. And my love for you remains steadfast, even when you are weak or when you stray. This is the true foundation upon which you must build your life. Therefore, my child, do not seek security in this world, for it will only disappoint you. Come to me, place your trust in me, and stand firm on me. When you do this, you will know a peace that surpasses all understanding, a peace not dependent on circumstances, but flowing from the certainty that you are standing on a foundation that cannot be shaken. Though storms may rage and the world may change, you will remain secure, for you are planted upon the eternal rock, me, your Lord. My beloved child, darkness is spreading over the world, and many have allowed their hearts to be covered by fear, doubt, and lies. Yet in the thickest night I call you to rise as a shining light. You were not created to blend into the darkness, nor to be hidden under a basket, but to stand, to shine, and to bear witness to the true light, which is me. As it is written, you are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Matthew 5:1-4. You are the lamp I have kindled, to guide those wandering in confusion. My child, I know there are moments when you feel small, believing your light is not enough to push back the advancing darkness. But remember, no matter how thick the night, it cannot extinguish a true flame. When you allow my light to shine through you, the darkness must retreat. Do not underestimate the power of your presence. Even if you are but a small lamp in my hands, you can become a beacon for many weary souls. That light is not of yourself, but flows from my life within you. Therefore, you must remain in constant union with me, so your flame never dies but continues to burn brightly through the long night. My child, a lamp is not lit to be hidden, but to be placed on a stand so that it may give light to the whole house. In the same way, I call you to rise up, not to hide your faith, not to shrink back in fear of mockery or persecution, but to live courageously and proclaim the truth. Many around you are groping in the darkness, not knowing which way is right, unable to discern what is true. You are the one to guide them. When you live in truth, when you reflect my light, others will see it and be drawn to the eternal source of light. Therefore, do not remain passive. Do not slumber, but awaken and shine. My beloved, to become a true lamp, you must embrace being set apart. Light and darkness cannot merge as one. If you desire to shine, you cannot live as the world does. You must be consecrated, keeping your heart pure and allowing my spirit to nourish the flame within you. A lamp only burns brightly when it has oil, and that oil is your communion with me in prayer, in my word, and in obedience. If you neglect these, your lamp will slowly fade. But if you faithfully keep it filled with oil, it will burn continually, and its light will spread, inspiring many others to light their own lamps. My child, the darkness of this world will only grow deeper. Deception will flood, the earth injustice will expand, and many hearts will grow cold. Yet it is in such a time that your light becomes most essential. You will stand as evidence that true light still exists. You will be a witness of love, of justice, and of life. When others look at you, they will see not merely an ordinary person, but my image reflected in you. Through that, they will know that I am real, that I am still at work, and that the darkness can never overcome the light. My child, I know you may feel afraid. You fear that when you shine, the darkness will rise against you. You fear being isolated, mocked, or persecuted. But do not tremble, for I am with you. It is I who keep your lamp burning. It is I who guard and strengthen you. When the enemy seeks to extinguish your flame, I will cause it to blaze even brighter. For the light I have given you does not come from this world, and the world cannot take it away. Therefore be strong, be courageous. Rise up and shine, for this is your calling in this very hour. My child, remember this. A shining lamp not only lights the way for others, but also protects you from stumbling. When my light shines within you, you will discern which path is true and which is a hidden pit. You will not be deceived by outward glitter, for my light enables you to see the reality beneath. That is why I call you to keep your lamp burning. This light is both a testimony to the world and a safeguard for your own soul. Therefore, my beloved child, rise as a lamp in the midst of the darkness. Do not slumber, do not conceal, do not allow your lamp to be hidden. Place it on the stand so that it gives light to everyone. Live a life that reflects my love and truth, so that others may see the light and glorify your Father in heaven. This is your calling, not only to be saved, but to be a witness of the true light. The world needs your light, for it is drowning in darkness. And I declare to you, stand up, shine forth, for the light I have placed within you shall never be extinguished. My beloved child, you often think that in order to do something great for me, you must accomplish grand tasks and perform deeds that stand out before the eyes of the world. But I tell you this, it is in the small things, in the simple acts, that I find true faithfulness. A cup of cool water you offer to the thirsty, a word of comfort you give to the sorrowful, a quiet prayer you lift up for another. These all hold immense value in my sight. The world may overlook such things, but I never forget. For I am the one who examines the heart, and I measure not by the size of the deed, but by the love and faithfulness you place within it. My child, I want you to remember what I have spoken. Whoever is faithful in very little is also faithful in much. Luke 1:6-10. You cannot expect to be entrusted with greater things if you have not been faithful in the small ones. That is why when you choose to live faithfully each day in your ordinary work in quiet service, in how you treat those around you, you are laying the foundation for the greater things I will place in your hands. I observe every detail, and I treasure every act of love, even those so small you think no one notices. But I see, I remember, and I reward. My child, do not let your heart be deceived into thinking that small things do not matter. The world only celebrates dazzling achievements and grand monuments, but I look upon the hidden deeds done in love. When you choose forgiveness instead of resentment, patience instead of anger, truth instead of lies, these choices, though small, carry eternal weight. They are like small stones laid upon the foundation, slowly building a strong spiritual house. One day you will see that nothing you have done for me has ever been in vain. My beloved, learn from my Son himself. He did not begin his mission with mighty miracles, but with 30 years of faithfulness in a simple life, working as a carpenter, obeying his parents, living humbly within his community. That daily faithfulness in small things prepared him for the great mission of redeeming mankind. So too for you, do not despise ordinary days. Do not disregard repetitive tasks. Do not think that only momentous events carry meaning, for it is in those small daily moments that I am testing, shaping, and preparing you for something greater. My child, I know there are times when you feel that what you do is meaningless. You pray, yet no one knows. You help, yet no one acknowledges. You live uprightly, yet the world takes no notice. You think your efforts have no value. But I declare to you, every tear you have shed, every prayer you have whispered, every small act of kindness you have done in secret, all are written in my book. One day you will see how they have made a great impact, not only in this life, but in eternity. My child, I call you to be faithful where I have placed you. Do not wait for a higher position before you begin to be faithful. Right there in your daily work, in your family, in the community where you live, that is the field I have entrusted to you. When you work with integrity, when you serve with love, when you pray for those around you, you are fulfilling your calling. And as you are faithful in that, I will open the door to greater things. My beloved child, being faithful in little also means being faithful in personal discipline. Be diligent to seek me daily in prayer, to meditate on my word, and to keep your heart pure against even the smallest temptations. Do not think only great sins are dangerous. It is the small compromises, the gradual concessions, that weaken the soul. But if you remain faithful in guarding your heart, if you are steadfast in refusing what seems small yet is wrong, then you will stand strong when greater trials come. My child, remember that faithfulness in the little things is the way you demonstrate your love for me. When you obey me in small matters, you are showing that your love for me does not depend on reward or recognition. It is pure, sincere, and unconditional, and I delight in that. When I see you perform even the smallest act with all your heart, I behold in it a sweet fragrance like an offering lifted up before me. My beloved child, I declare to you, nothing you do in love is ever in vain. Do not grow weary in doing good, for in due season I will allow you to reap if you do not lose heart. The tiny seeds you sow today, a prayer, a kind gesture, a quiet sacrifice, will sprout and bear fruit in the season I have appointed. And that fruit will not only nourish you, but will also feed many others. You will be amazed at how the smallest of your deeds can bring forth eternal impact. Therefore, my precious child, be faithful in the little things. Do not wait for grand opportunities, but live fully in the present. Let every action, every word, and every thought reflect your love and loyalty to me. When you live this way, you are storing up treasures that cannot be lost, treasures that no moth can destroy and no thief can steal. And one day when you stand before me, you will hear my voice saying, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful in little. I will entrust you with much more. Enter into the joy of your Lord." My beloved child, the lunar eclipse is not only a sign of shaking or awakening, but also a signal of a great harvest that is drawing near. When the light is hidden and the heavens are painted red, it is also my reminder that the spiritual fields are ripe, ready for gathering. As I have spoken, the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Therefore pray to the Lord of the harvest to send out laborers into his harvest. Matthew 9:3-738. My child, this is that season. I am calling you along with many others to become laborers in my field, for the time has come to bring souls into the eternal kingdom. Look around, my child, and you will see hearts that are thirsty. They hunger for truth but do not know where to find it. They search in knowledge and philosophy and man-made religions, yet remain empty. They seek peace in wealth, fame, and pleasures, but their hearts only grow more restless. Darkness surrounds them, leaving them blind to the way out. Yet in that very moment, my light is ready to shine, and you are one of those I have chosen to carry that light to them. The harvest of souls has already begun, and I am sending you forth to gather those who long for the truth. My child, do not think this work is only for a select few. No, I call every one of my children, including you, to be faithful harvesters. You do not need to stand before thousands to preach. It is enough to be faithful to those I place in your life, your family, friends, co-workers, and those you encounter each day. When you live in the light, when you speak words of love, when you pray for them, you are sowing spiritual seeds, and in due time those seeds will sprout and bear fruit. The harvest does not only occur in crowded squares, but also within small conversations and quiet acts of love. Beloved child, the lunar eclipse is a reminder that this harvest carries urgency. Just as the eclipse appears only for a short time and then passes, so too is the window for gathering limited. You cannot delay forever, nor wait for a more convenient day. Now is the acceptable time. Today is the day of salvation. Every soul is precious in my sight, and I desire that none should be lost. Therefore I call you to seize every opportunity to open your eyes to the fields already white for harvest and to begin reaping. Do not let the moment slip away, for there are those who only need one word from you, one act of kindness to turn back to me. My child, I know you may think that you are small and that your strength is not enough to take part in this great harvest. But remember, the power to reap does not come from you, but from me. You are but an instrument, a clay vessel, yet within you is a great treasure. When you open your mouth to speak, my spirit will empower your words to touch the hearts of others. When you lay your hands to pray, it is I who act to heal and deliver. When you walk faithfully, I will cause fruit to come forth from the very work of your hands. Therefore do not fear, but obey and step forward, for I am with you in every step of the harvest. My child, this harvest does not only bring souls back to me, it also refines you. As you step into the work, you will learn humility, patience, and trust in me. You will discover that the harvest is not always easy. Sometimes the seed is eaten by the birds, sometimes the weeds rise up to choke it. But if you endure, if you remain faithful, you will see the true harvest come, and the fruit will exceed all your expectations. I do not call you so that you will be discouraged by obstacles, but so that you may cling to me and witness my miracles in this season of reaping. My child, remember that the reward of the harvest is not only in this life, but in eternity. Every soul saved is a precious jewel in your crown. Each person you lead back to me makes heaven rejoice. Every step you take in this harvest is remembered by me and rewarded. I tell you, do not grow weary in doing good, for in due season you will reap if you do not give up. This is a sure promise, and I am faithful to fulfill it for you. Therefore, my beloved child, see the lunar eclipse as the trumpet blast announcing the harvest of souls. It does not merely warn, it urges. It does not only caution, it encourages. It reminds you that time is short, that opportunity will not last, and that the urgency of the harvest is real. Be ready, rise up, go forth and reap, for I have sent you, I have equipped you, and I will be with you until the end of the age. My beloved child, when you lift your eyes to the heavens and behold the lunar eclipse, understand that it is not only an astronomical event, but a reflection of a spiritual reality unfolding in the unseen realm. Darkness strives to cover the light, yet the light remains waiting for the moment to shine forth in fullness. This is the image of the cosmic battle that has raged since the beginning of creation. The conflict between good and evil, between my kingdom of light and the dominion of darkness. The eclipse lasts but a moment, yet it reminds you that in the spiritual realm, this battle continues, and every soul is caught within it. My child, ever since the enemy rebelled against me, darkness has sought to cover the light, to deceive humanity, and to draw them away from eternal life. It does not first appear as a fierce adversary, but as a masquerader, as an angel of light sowing doubt, greed, and pride in human hearts. It is like the earth interposing itself, blocking the sunlight from reaching the moon, causing it to turn dim and red. But remember this, my light never disappears. It may be obscured for a season, but it cannot be extinguished. At the appointed time, that light will blaze forth and darkness must retreat. My child, I want you to understand that this battle is not between flesh and blood, but against the rulers, the authorities, the powers of this dark world, and the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Ephesians 6:1-2. The enemy seeks to obscure my light in your life, in your family, and in your community. It uses fear, lies, sin, and temptation to turn you away from the source of light. But I declare to you, if you stand firm in me, darkness will not overcome you, for I have already overcome the world. My child, the lunar eclipse reminds you that there are times when I allow darkness to appear temporarily, not because I am weak, but because I desire to test and refine my people. When the light is covered, the true condition of the human heart is revealed. Those whose foundation is built upon me will stand firm, while those who rely on the world will quickly be shaken. Just as when the moon's light is hidden and what truly lies in the darkness becomes visible, so also in the spiritual battle deceit will be exposed, and only those who walk in truth will remain steadfast. My child, darkness is always seeking to expand its influence. It strives to cover, to bind, and to destroy. Yet remember, my light is always greater than the darkness. A single ray of light is enough to drive back the night. Therefore, I call you not to fear when you see darkness increasing. Stand firm like a lamp in the long night, for it is in the darkest hour that your light will shine most clearly. Remember that you are not alone. I am with you. My angels surround you, and my spirit empowers you to overcome. Beloved one, I allow you to witness the sign of the lunar eclipse, so that you may know the spiritual battle is not some distant abstraction, but a living reality. You cannot stand passively on the sidelines, for each day, each choice you make is part of this battle. Will you choose light or darkness? Will you choose truth or deception? Will you stand firm in me or yield to temptation? Stay awake, for the enemy continually seeks to overshadow the light in your life. But I tell you this, do not fear, for my light within you will prevail if you remain faithful. My child, I also remind you that the outcome of this battle has already been decided. The enemy may thrash about, darkness may spread, but victory has been secured through the cross. The lunar eclipse lasts only for a short while, and then the moon's light shines again. In the same way, darkness may cover for a season, but my glorious light will rise and my eternal kingdom will be established. Hold tightly to this promise so that when the world shakes, you will not tremble but remain steadfast in sure hope. Therefore, beloved one, regard the lunar eclipse as a reminder of the unseen battle between good and evil. Be alert, clothe yourself with spiritual armor, and walk in the light. Do not let darkness deceive you. Do not allow it to dim the flame within your heart. Stand firm, for I have called you to be a witness of the true light. And remember, in the end, light will triumph, darkness will be swallowed up, and my glory will radiate throughout the universe. My precious child, the battle you face is not against flesh and blood, but against the powers of darkness and the cunning schemes that cover this world. You cannot fight with your own strength or with human weapons, but you must put on the full armor of God that I have prepared for you. Without it, you will be easily swept away by waves of deceit, brought low under pressure, and lose your way in the storm of the Spirit. Therefore I declare to you, take up the full armor of the Lord, so that you may stand firm in the evil day, and when you have done all, remain standing. My child, first fasten the belt of truth around your waist. This world is drowning in lies, and the enemy is the father of lies. He will whisper sweet words laced with venom, making you doubt me, doubt yourself, and doubt the future. If you do not hold tightly to truth, you will easily be deceived. But if you keep truth in your heart, the truth revealed in my word, you will recognize deception the moment it arrives. Truth will keep you from falling, just as the belt holds the armor together. Let my word be the sole standard for your faith and your actions. My child, put on the breastplate of righteousness to guard your heart, for the enemy will always aim his arrows at your heart with accusations, guilt, and temptation. He wants you to believe you are unworthy, that you have failed too many times, that my love for you has ended. But I tell you this, you have been clothed in the righteousness of Christ, not by your works, but by my grace. When you wear this breastplate of righteousness, your heart will be shielded, and the enemy will not pierce through. Live set apart, keep your heart upright, and walk in obedience, for this is how you keep your breastplate shining bright. My beloved child, your feet must be fitted with the shoes of the gospel of peace. The world is drowning in chaos, war, division, and hatred. Yet I am calling you to be one who brings peace. Every step you take should carry hope, reconciliation, and my love to others. When you are ready to share the good news, you are like a soldier whose shoes are always on, prepared for battle. You will not stumble nor be slowed down, but will remain steady and swift, ready to go wherever I send you. Do not allow fear to paralyze you, but let my peace guide each step you take. My child, the shield of faith is a weapon you cannot live without. The enemy will never cease to fire flaming arrows at you, thoughts of doubt, words of slander, and circumstances that provoke fear. If you try to block them with your own strength, you will quickly be exhausted. But when you raise the shield of faith, every fiery arrow will be extinguished. Faith is not a fleeting emotion. It is the firm assurance in me and in my promises, even when your eyes see nothing yet. When the enemy whispers that I have abandoned you, when it says the darkness is too thick to pass through, lift up the shield of faith and answer with, my word, I will never leave you nor forsake you. That faith will keep you standing firm in the storm. My beloved, put on the helmet of salvation to guard your mind. The greatest battle takes place in your thoughts. The enemy will plant false ideas, painful memories, and sinful images to confuse you and drive you into despair. But the helmet of salvation reminds you that you have been redeemed, bought at the price of blood, and called into eternal life. When you are certain that you belong to me, nothing can shake your hope. Salvation is not something you must strive to earn, but a gift I have given and secured forever. Let this truth cover your mind, so that you will not be swept away by the storm of lies. Finally, my dear child, take up the sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God. This is the only offensive weapon in the armor, and it carries the power to shatter every scheme of the enemy. The enemy trembles before my word, for it is fire, a hammer that breaks the rock, and a light that drives out the darkness. Do not keep my word only in a book, but inscribe it on your heart, speak it with your mouth, and wield it in battle. When you declare my word, the darkness must retreat. When you resist with my word, the storm of deception must collapse. Never underestimate the power of my word, for it is living and active, sharper than any double-edged sword. My child, this full armor is not something to put on once and forget, but a way of life you must remain in each day. The belt of truth, the breastplate of righteousness, the shoes of the gospel of peace, the shield of faith, the helmet of salvation, and the sword of my word, all are essential. None can be lacking. You must put on the whole armor, for the enemy will search for the smallest weakness to attack. But if you are fully equipped, you will stand firm, not only to protect yourself, but also to become a soldier in my ranks, defeating darkness and advancing the kingdom of light. My beloved child, listen carefully to what I declare. A time of judgment and refining is coming upon the earth. This is not meaningless destruction, but a necessary cleansing, so that my people may be purified, falsehood removed, and holiness restored. Just as gold can only become pure when tested by fire, so your faith can only be made steadfast when tried through hardship. That is why I allow the fire of trial not to destroy you, but to refine you, so that you may reflect my glory more clearly than ever before. My child, many believe that my love means they will never face tribulation. But I tell you this, my love does not remove you from every trial. It sustains you through each one. If I let you live in constant comfort, your faith would remain weak and fragile. But when you walk through the fire, you learn patience, dependence on me, and discover that true strength comes from my spirit. Remember what I have spoken. See, I have refined you, but not as silver. I have tested you in the furnace of affliction. Isaiah 4:8-10. My child, it is in that very furnace of affliction that I do my deepest work in your heart. My child, the fire of judgment will come to expose all things. What belongs to me will remain, but what is false will be consumed. Many works built by human hands that seem great will prove to be nothing more than straw before the flame. Many outward acts that appear righteous, yet are not born of me, will be burned away. The fire I allow to come is not to destroy what is true, but to remove what is false. Just as the refiner sits and waits for the gold to become pure and clear, so I watch over my people in the fire until my image is reflected in them. My child, do not tremble when you see the flames of trial surrounding you. Do not think that I have abandoned you when you must pass through hardships. On the contrary, in the fire, I am nearer to you than ever before. I am the one who walked with the 3 friends of Daniel in the blazing furnace so that the flames could not harm them. In the same way, I am with you so that the fire will not consume you, but will burn away the chains that bind you. The trials come not to crush you, but to set you free, that you may walk into perfect liberty. My child, judgment is also a reminder that I am a righteous God. I cannot turn a blind eye to sin, to corruption, or to impurity. Yet because I love you, I discipline you as a father disciplines his children. My correction is not destruction, but a way to bring you back to the straight path. If I allowed you to continue wandering astray without intervening, that would be the sign that I did not care for you. But because you belong to me, I use fire to correct, to cleanse, and to ensure that you can stand before me in holiness. My child, when you feel the weight of trials pressing upon you, remember that it is the process through which I give you new strength and new character. Just as the grain must be crushed to become bread, and the grapes must be pressed to become wine, so you too must be broken in order for your true fragrance and value to be revealed. Do not resist this process. Do not seek to escape it too soon, but surrender and trust me. For I know your limits, and I will not allow the fire to go beyond what you can endure. My child, see this season of judgment and refining as an opportunity to examine your heart. Do not merely look outward and notice how others are being shaken. Look within yourself. What within you needs to be removed? What habit still binds you? What pride stands in your way? My fire comes to burn these away, so that you may become a more useful vessel for my kingdom. If you yield to my work, you will find yourself renewed, strengthened, and purified more than ever before. My beloved, I tell you this, through the fire of testing, you will enter into glory. No suffering is meaningless if it brings you closer to me. No tear is wasted if it cleanses your heart and draws you into greater dependence on me. When the season of trial has passed, you will look back and see that the fire did not destroy you, but molded you into a new person, stronger, steadfast, and reflecting my image more clearly. Therefore, my beloved child, do not fear the fire. Receive it as part of my plan. Walk through it with the confidence that I go with you. Let the fire refine you, cleanse you of all impurity, and make you pure as refined gold. And when the time of judgment is complete, you will find yourself standing in the light, clothed in garments of white, and sharing in my glory. This is the very purpose of this season, not to destroy, but to purify, to prepare you and my people for the coming season of glory. My beloved child, lift up your head and recognize this. The final victory does not belong to darkness nor to the enemy, but to me and to all who faithfully follow me. From the beginning of creation, I appointed a day when all things would be restored, when chains would be broken, and when mankind would step into its true destiny to live in freedom and light. The lunar eclipse may remind you of the moment when the light is hidden, but know this: after every season of darkness, radiant light returns. And that light not only shines in the heavens, but also within your heart and your life, leading you into the eternal plan I have prepared. My child, this victory is not one you earn by your own strength, but the work I have already accomplished. When my Son declared on the cross, "It is finished," that was the moment victory was sealed. The enemy thought it had triumphed when the Redeemer hung upon the tree, but that very moment was the day it was defeated. Life swallowed up death, light overcame darkness, and hope replaced despair. Therefore, the final victory is not uncertain, but an absolute truth. You need only to step into it to believe and to live in that victory. My child, the final victory means that you are no longer a slave to sin, to fear, or to the chains that once bound you. You have been set free by the blood of the Lamb, and you are called to live in complete freedom. Do not let the past hold you back. Do not let the lies of the enemy restrain you. Do not let old failures chain you again. I have shattered every bond, and I call you to walk out in freedom. This freedom is not the license to do whatever you please, but the power to live in the destiny I have ordained for you, the destiny of a child of light, an heir in the everlasting kingdom. My child, when you step into victory, you also step into the light. My light will shine upon you to reveal your path, guiding you through every turn and every trial. That light not only drives away the darkness around you, but also penetrates every hidden corner within you, so that you may be renewed and purified. You will see that my light never fades, but grows ever brighter each day, leading you from glory to glory. As you walk in the light, you will no longer be lost, no longer deceived, and no longer overcome by darkness. The light will be your armor, the lamp for your feet, and the beacon that leads you to the shore of peace. My child, your destiny is not to live in mediocrity, but to walk in the noble calling I have appointed for you. I have placed within you gifts, potential, and a position in my eternal plan. When you enter into victory, you will discover that all the pain and trials of the past were only preparation, so that you might stand firm in the glory of the present. The tears you once shed will become the seeds of joy. The wounds you once bore will become testimonies of my healing power. And the stumbles you once endured will become precious lessons through which you can lift others up. This is your destiny, not merely to exist, but to shine, to influence, and to become my instrument upon this earth. Beloved child, the final victory is not for you alone, but for all my people. A day will come when every knee will bow, and every tongue will confess that I am Lord. On that day, injustice will be erased, death will be swallowed up, and tears will be no more. This is the great hope I give you, so that even as you live in a world filled with trials, you may lift your head high and rejoice, knowing that the outcome is already determined. You do not walk in uncertainty, but in the assurance that light will triumph. My child, receive this word as a fire within your heart. You are destined to live in victory, to step into your calling, to live in freedom and in light. Do not shrink back in fear. Do not return to old chains. Do not doubt my word. Step forward, for I have made the way. Rise up, for I have placed strength within you. Shine, for my light is in you. The final victory is no longer far away. It has already begun within you the moment you choose to believe, to obey, and to walk with me. Therefore, my beloved, rejoice, for you are no longer a victim of darkness, but an heir of light. Live in the freedom I give, for where my spirit is, there is freedom. Step into the destiny I have prepared for. I have appointed you a portion in my eternal plan, and let your life become a living testimony that the final victory belongs to me, and that those who trust in me will never be put to shame. May the word of the Lord continually remind you to live each day in His faith and love. Press the follow button and turn on the notification bell so you will not miss the sacred and meaningful messages God desires to give you. May the Lord bless you. Amen.